Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So today I'm going to add this face to my canvas. Now, if you watched my live stream, I had a live stream yesterday and I drew and painted the face. So what I did was I put it for free download on my website. My website is knittinganthings.blogspot.com. The link will be down below. You can go download this and a bunch of different papers for um, mixed media backgrounds and that kind of stuff. I'm going to put them in a section where you can like go to one section to download all of it. I just have to take the time to do it. So I'm going to add it to this canvas. And what I did was I scanned it into my computer. And you can, like I said, go on the site and take it and save it to your computer, right click it and save it. You could take a picture of it and print it out. You can take it to your local Staples or whatever. This is inkjet. And what I did was I printed it out. I let the ink dry for about 15 minutes. And then I took my Mod Podge mat and I did a real quick once coat on it. And what that's going to do for me is let me work on top of it. It's going to let me glue it down and none of the ink will spread if I use wet on top of it, right? So now I'm going to glue him down, glue her down, glue him, glue her. But you can see I got a little bit of that Mod Podge. You could see some of the lines on there. And I'm going to decide where I want to do it. Yesterday we decided that we were going to do like a brownish red hair on her. I like her to the side, but maybe I'll just do her in the middle. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to take my Mod Podge. Now, if you don't have Mod Podge, you can use white school glue. You want to use the um, glue all. You don't want to use washable. You can, but people always yell at me when I tell them that they can use it. I use school glue all the time, and it's just regular kids school glue because it's water reactive. So um, it could be if you wet it, it'll come back up. But I don't worry about those kind of things because I'm going to glue it down. But I'm all for that kind of thing. So I think I'm going to do her here. And then I'll go over. I like to usually start in the middle and push out. So if there's any air bubbles. And when I drew her, I just used printer paper. And I'm going to just take a little bit more just to go around these edges. I used printer paper. I drew her. Like I said, I'm going to timestamp my live stream because I know a lot of people don't like to sit and watch, through all of it. So I am going to timestamp it so you'll be able to see as I did her. And yeah, so you can see Mod Podge done. The only thing you can see is I have a little bit of pencil here when I drew her. I should have probably erased off before I painted. Not going to worry about it. I can touch it up and that kind of thing. So I'm going to let her dry for a second. Let me show you what my new obsessions are. My new obsession, I love resin and I love clay. So I practiced on this one. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm using metal paint. It's called brushed metal. It's not real metal, but it's a brushed metal paint from Folk Art. It's been out forever. But so it gives it that metal kind of look. And I think I'm going to black wash it to make it look like a little bit more old, worn, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I love this. So I'm going to do this on a cat face. If I have time, maybe I'll do it on here. If not, I'll do it either in another video or on a live stream. I'm loving doing live streams lately. And I really appreciate everybody who comes. I know they're more, I don't plan them like I should. So where it's like, oh, I'll be live Wednesday at, I did yesterday a little bit, but I'm going to try to do a little bit later in the afternoon one of these days. But I sit here and if I'm going to go do a video and I think to myself, oh, I should just go live and see if anybody wants to come and sit with me while I, talk while I do it. So you can see, I'm just going to let that dry. Now, if you have a hair dryer heat gun, I use a heat gun. I don't hold it in one place because it'll bubble but this will just help speed it up. I move it all around. If you don't have a heat gun, use a hair dryer. I always say if you don't have a hairdryer, go to your local Goodwill or thrift store, but we can't do that right now. I just like to go over it one more time, make sure that that's hitting it underneath so we get no bubbles. Sometimes thinner paper can bubble with the glue underneath of it, so you just have to be a little bit more cautious. Always go in the middle and push out. I'm good, there's no bubbles here. So now know this, you see I dried it, and that's so I can work on top. Do not work on top when it's still warm from your heat gun or your hair dryer. Leave it dry for a few minutes. And also know that underneath is not fully cured or dried. It will take, like overnight, 24 hours, that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I have that. Now I know I want to do a some sort of neck shoulder thing on here so she doesn't look like she's just hanging in the air, although sometimes she can be hanging in the air. Who cares, right? Now I have to find my skin. I don't feel like mixing today. Let's see what we got. Excuse my arm. Here we are. Okay, close that back up. And I'm just going to take some of this and just kind of bring it out. You can use gesso until you get yourself, to know where you want it. I'm just going to go like that. And she'll need a couple coats. I really just wanted to show you how to glue anything down. It doesn't have to be a face. It could be anything, flowers or out of a magazine if you're using a magazine. Still, I would coat with gesso, with Mod Podge if you got out of the magazine. See how it kind of makes her, I could do her thicker. I got football shoulders, so we'll do her a little bigger. I wish I had little petite shoulders, but that's not me. I've learned to love them. Okay, see how we got her going? So I can put her a necklace. I could do whatever I want. And you just play with it until you get what you want. What you want. There you go. Now I'll leave that dry, and then I'll put on another coat and then play. Like with a necklace, I'll do beads, I'll just play. And a couple coats, and that'll cover up that little right here. Like what I like to do, let's put it that way, is when I do jewelry or necklaces or beading or even draw, you could see right here where my neck, where I glued her down. So that's where I will put my beading or whatever as a necklace right there. So that covers that up. You can also cut her head off and not have a neck. Just glue her head itself down, and then you can paint on the neck and do all that yourself. You can do whatever you want. Um, this is free to play with. I could go on. You can see because I used my printout. I'll show you a few things that could happen. You see on her face right here, it's like a little bit white. It just took some of that color off, that pink. I can go in and fill that out, and I can play on top of her now. If you don't have Mod Podge, maybe you have some, oh crap, what's it called? Krylon fixative, and you can spray fixative on and use it, or put your hand through the paint you just put on there. So you can do that as well. Let me see if I can, it's going to make it a little too white. So you could do all those. You could repaint her whole face. Maybe you want her face to be more blue. I'll have to print out another one and play another day where we could change her whole face. We could change her eye color. It's just a template. You can print her out in just black and gray, black and white, grayscale, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit just for a few minutes. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to place in her hair. And I'm not going to wet my brush to clean it. I've learned, because I'm like, ooh, go, nope, I'm going to go like this. I've learned some really cool tricks from painting Let's Paint with Plaid. Some really, really great tricks that I've been using in my art, and very happy. So I hope to be starting to paint my own things soon. So I'm going to go in with, excuse me, some burnt sienna, which is like a, I don't know, I want to say an orangey brown. I guess, is that what I would call that color, maybe? And I'm going to go here. Now, one of the ways he says to clean your brush without wetting it is dip it in the color that you're getting ready to use, and then squish it around a little bit more on the paintbrush that you're using. And then go in your paper towel, dry paper towel, squeeze it out. Give it a good squeeze. Move this up. And then do it one more time. Because when we add water, obviously, I mean, we know that. I use water all the time to rinse my brush and then I dry it. But it just helps you where you don't have to necessarily water down the paint if you don't want it to be. So that's something I do. Sometimes I just swish it around and do my thing. So you can see I cut her head out like that. So I know that my hair, I'm just going to start it here. And you know what else would be fun? I'm not going to do on this one, but you could take modeling paste, texture paste, molding paste, whatever you call it, and you could put your hair out, do it like that, and add the texture. Leave it dry and then paint over it, or mix your paint in it to get the color. Do you know what I mean? That's good. That's a fun thing. I'm just kind of eyeing it here. What kind of hair do I want? I want her hair blowing like this way. So right now I'm just kind of outlining it. I'm not worrying about painting on her face yet. I will like to add the hair as pieces, but for now, I just want to kind of block in the idea that I have. And I'll add other colors to her hair. And I want it like flowing this way. So I'm going to have it like flowing like this. This is how I do it sometimes to block it out. I could use a bigger brush probably. But why? Why not just torture myself and use a smaller brush? Okay, I'm gonna move this light because I'm having terrible eye problems lately, and it's hard for me to see. So I got to put that light on there a little bit better because I'm having a really hard time seeing. So I'm sorry if it's a little glossy looking because of the wet paint, but I'll dry it soon so you can see it. You could get the gist of what I'm doing here. I'm just, like I said, laying it in. Okay. And then what I'll do is look, now how much hair do I want? If I keep it like this, basically like this, it looks like her hair's long, right? And it's going off the canvas, right? Long and flowing. I can make it thicker and bring it up here more and bring it around there more to make her more voluptuous. I can take some more, I like adding accents to my words. I can take this and I can make it wavy, which I'll probably do. I kind of dig it straight, not sure yet. But I'm going to take and do some bangs. You see what I mean? And then we can just kind of give her a little bit of something and just play. Maybe you want to give her straight bangs. I never know. I might do this and then hate it and then say, I'm going to give her straight bangs. I kind of like the little wave. Okay. Like that, yeah. Gives her a little bit of wave. Oh, I can't decide. Do I want this thicker? You know what I'm going to add? I'm going to add a little bit of blending gel. What the blending gel does, kind of, I'm going to say kind of like glazing medium, but help it stay wetter a little bit longer. And what it's going to do as well is kind of help blend these outside parts because it's like getting dry and I can't get, yeah, there we go. See what I mean? And I'll just go in for more gel, and I've been finding this really helps lately with my paintings. And you see, now it's hard to see because the background and the lighting. Let's see if, yeah. I'm not starting her face yet. I'm gonna go in for some more blending on both sides of my brush. Go in for some more paint, and I'm gonna go a little thicker here and give her some waves. They decided, they were on my live stream yesterday, she had like a sadness to her, which sounds about right for how the week has went for me. So I'm going with it. Okay. So I got the basic of the outside of her hair. Really digging that. I'm going to dry it with blending gel or glazing or whatever. Sometimes it'll take an extra second to dry. Because it's a little, you know, a little long, a little wetter, I guess. Jellier, whatever. And you see, I'm just doing layers. Like, I'm doing the hair. I'm going to get it a little bit dry. Not going to worry about how dry. And then I'm going to go back to the neck and the face, because that gave that a little bit longer to dry for me. And I need another layer on here. So I'm going to lay that there. I'm going to go in with a different brush for now. I'm going to line it. Put paint on it. And I'm just going to go in, which I'll probably end up changing brushes for the hair as well. I should have probably just did the bigger brush, but I don't know. I wanted to feel like an artiste, you know? Okay. Now you see down here, I got a little bit of the skin tone on there. I'll go over it with the paint. It'll just add a little bit of dimension, a little bit of, you know, whatever. And I'm going to go in here on the one side of the neck where, just to kind of do like that. But what I'm going to do is go in with a paper towel, your rag, art rag, whatever, and I'm going to lightly blend some of that off that I just put on to kind of bring some of that color up through the face where I lost some of it. And I'm going back. I'm going to do the face in a minute, but I'm going to just kind of blend it a little bit. I know it's hard to see. I don't know if I turn that off, yeah, it's going to be too hard for me to see. Okay, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to take this brush. I'm not going to put much more paint on it. I'm going to actually take it over here and kind of dab it off just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in here and I can see, I can even add some white paint to this to lighten it a little bit. I might even get a little bit of the blending gel with this as well. Over here, just a couple drips or drops. I'm going to take a little bit of white. Hopefully next time you see my, just a little dot, I'll have my paper change because I know all right, so I'm going to dab just a little bit in there and just get a little bit of that white. And again, I'm going to be going over the hair, so I'm not worried if I, a little bit. So I'm going to go in for those highlights. You see, it's just going to be enough to blend it out a little bit more. I love these cheeks, but because the paint a little bit, the inkjet kind of, did me a little bit, did me dirty. I'm just going to go in and touch up in a few spaces. I can always go back with some pink over top, if it bothers me, but it did do me a little dirty there. So I'm going to go in. But remember, you have the structure of the painting itself. And I can go over where you could see some of my draw marks. You could use a smaller brush. I'm just going to use the corner. I'm sorry if you can't see. I'm not doing anything spectacular. And because I have some blending gel, and because I have that color underneath that is now Mod Podged down, so it's not going to lift, I will still get some of that delightful pink skin tone coming through. And honestly, if you saw my skin tone right now, that's kind of what mine is. Mine's like blotchy. I got the red, I got some, I should put some sunspots. I found some age spots, sunspots. I don't know what the heck they are, but they're on my face. I know that. All right. Gonna just go in a little bit. Like I said, it's like the littlest bit of paint. Almost like we're coloring by, paint by numbers or anything like that. Don't worry if you get a little bit in the eye because we'll be going over that. And then just go back with your brush a little bit and blend. Blend it into the dark a little bit. Don't put anything extra on. If you have too much paint, just daub it off. I'm just kind of going to blend a little bit. Still hard for you guys to see. I don't know. I have my thing on there. I'll lift it up so you can see a little bit more. I want this to be a little lighter under the eye. And you can smooth it out a little bit with your brush going one way if you want. I think you could see. Let's see. Yeah, see the difference? But you'll still see when this is dry, you'll still see that color coming through. A little bit of that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. This is my little darker side, so I'm going to just tap that off a little bit. I don't even know if I want to bother with that too much. I kind of like that. So I'm going to very lightly just wisp over. but I like it. I like it because it's more the darker side. I'm going to do a little bit here under the chin because that'll be a little bit of a highlight right there. Yeah. And a little bit up to the lips. And again, you could change this face whatever way you want. If you want to change the colors, if you want to make the lips bigger, smaller. Yeah, that's I'm loving much better. Just gonna blend this right here. It's driving me nuts a little bit. Yeah. And like I said, you could see it coming up a little bit redder. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna put her hair. It's gonna cut. If you want it a little bit lighter, by all means, you can go in and add a little bit more white and, you know, maybe on her for a little bit of highlight here, a little bit of highlight here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And then just go back and blend it a little bit. Oh, God, itchy. And you just keep playing till you're happy. And then dry it, and then go over it again. If you want it again, just make sure you're drying in between, because if you go when it's wet and you keep going over it, it'll just drag and drag. Like you're at a RuPaul, getting drugged. Okay, quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to shade down here a little bit to kind of match up here. I'm not going to, this would be too long of a video to keep going, but let me just show you a few things. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll add at the end, I'll stop it and then I'll add at the end just me finishing it, but speed through. So, but I'm going to take some, excuse me, my God, where'd that come from? Yellow ochre, just a little bit. And this is how I did. I started the, do I have any more gel? Just so it blends up a little bit here and there. And then I can go back into the white and that skin tone and blend it. And it's just going to add a little bit of, you know, color and shadow. A little bit shadow there. Okay, then I'll take this again and go in a little bit more. And then I go over it when it's wet, because I want it to be, I want it to blend, and I want it to just add that little bit of shadow. And I'll go over it very quickly. I'm not gonna, I just keep layering. This is how I did the face too. And it always looks a mess, but it will come together. See, now she looks like she was rolling in the dirt. But that's okay. I'm going to go in with some more skin tone. Bring it in here to lighten it up. I'm not drying it at all because I want it to blend. I want this to go over it and blend. And you see how I'm just going over the same area a couple times. Like that. I'm going to take a little bit of white. I mean, really, it's very, she has a nice tan going on there. Take a little bit of white, like a highlight here, highlight. Our chest a little bit, blend in. And then I'll let it dry and I will go back and touch up at another time. Let me see where my, once it's dry. But I just wanted to add a little bit, you know, where it's a little bit more like this. I can even go in. I'm not mad at this stuff. I need to fix this eyebrow. It's driving me bananas. But I might have to fix there. That's going to drive me bananas, but I'm okay with the rest. So I will let that dry. And then I can go add highlights to it, make it a little bit, you know, more of what I want it to be. But that just warms it up a little bit and gives it a little bit of love. So I will go back into, put that there, a little bit more of this for the hair for now. This is the burnt sienna, and I don't care that some of the skin color is on there because I want the extra, I want the highlights and the kind of thing through it. So if it's too light, I can always go back over it. But for now, I just want to add just a little bit. You want to be careful adding white or other colors to, especially white. It gets kind of chalky, so you just want to pay attention to that. And I'll get a smaller brush to touch up and to do the hair. But for now, highlight through that curl. Pick up some of that texture. Yeah. And I see here I could blend this a little bit more. But like I said, I'm going to go back in with the dark, with it straight dark anyway, with a clean brush. But for now, that is what we have so far. I'm really, really loving her. I really am. So I'm going to stop this here. And then I'm going to add at the end, like I said, me finishing her up. And then I'd love to know down below what you guys think. I'm going to have to do something here because it's driving me like a horn. Now, what I would do is I would probably do that and then do another one on this side and make her a devil girl. But I'm not going to do that today. But I might, once she's dry, or dry her, go take a video, not a video, a scan of her and keep her. And then I could print this out and then do the devil girl that I want to do. So use your printer and your computer the best that you can to your advantage. If you do something that you really, really love, sometimes I do things and I surprise myself and I'm like, oh, make copies of it so you can play. You can add it in your journals, your junk journals, your ATC cards. I can shrink this down. I can do so many things with it. So don't forget that. So continue watching if you want to see the rest of her and her finished, the canvas finished. And thank you for spending time with me. As always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. I love you guys so, so very much. Please let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe if you just found me. Click that subscribe button down below. The link next to it, the little notification bell so you can get notified when I upload. Also, the link down below to download this face. Remember, my knitting my knittingandthings.blogspot.com. I got to learn how to quit talking so fast. Okay, continue watching. Bye-bye.